Hello everybody and welcome to week 8 of Raz's recaps. We're nearing that playoff mark. Week 10 is coming up very close. And for our top teams, they have their mind on those best of 5. So let's get to the first one. RNG in Beijing going up against Rogue Warriors. So for a lot of people are like, yeah, Rogue Warriors, what about them? They have that one shot to keep their playoff hopes alive. Who you're looking at is not Killua. It's going to be Huang Gai in his debut. So now you got your debut performance going up against RNG. And take a look at this. This is game 2. RNG actually got run down by Rogue Warriors in game 1. What you got to see was a really creative composition. Huang Gai picking up the Morgana with a lot of dive in. It was Zhao Yun on his Kled. And it was the Echo pick there for Huatian, and they were able to just dive right in towards Uzi. This time around, Uzi had another bad game, really poor early game, and you see them picking up that Baron buff. But guess who has their eyes on the pocket? Boom! That was an Ezreal ult, out-damaging the J4 Smite. They pick up Smite on that Smite steal. They pick up the game to follow up. Rogue Warriors with a shocker in Beijing. The crowd was silent up this point because not only did you expect yourself to be getting past RW, one of the worst teams in the league, you expected yourself to gearing up towards the playoff time. But Rogue Warriors, in that last-ditch effort, the young guns of Zhao Yun, Huatian, Zhang Wuji come up clutch to be able to pick up this series. Unsurprisingly, Zhang Wuji picks up the MVP of the game. This was huge in Beijing, and only expecting better from this young lineup going into the summer split. And for our next series, EDG versus FPX. FPX has had that tough run, had to go up against Invictus Gaming, RNG. Man, it's been hard for them. Even ended up losing to TOP on that one, but they went up against EDG and they were ready for this. Game 1, EDG matches them. Take a look at that. That's going to be a puppy there for Gimgoon. And he's going to be the most important player for this play because not only was EDG stacking up pressure, they got the Dragons in their backcourt, they got that inhibitor on the top side of the map. Then you see wards, or at least like the ping is coming up in the top lane because you have the play coming in from Gimgoon. Ends up getting the teleport flank here. And just look at who he ends up targeting. That's right. He tries to go for iBoy. Just take a look at this. And he gets out of there with his blink. From that point forward, all members of EDG are ready for that one. Already able to take down Corki here. Duombi was struggling here because although FPX were looking good early on in this game, had that false confidence about him. He ended up picking up Iceborne Gauntlet on the Corki. Guess what? Time's a ticking. EDG get control right back and they start trying to pound on towards your major objective. So he goes straight towards the Trinity Force. Wasn't good enough. The team fight's been that strong for EDG.
But FPX battled back to turn this into a third game, and your eyes do not deceive you. That's hope coming in for EDG. Struggled really hard in the early laning phase, and you can already see how the composition just nails him down. Really has no time to recover. Duombi's Galio, Tien's Nocturne sends him right into the back, and 35 minutes in, Scout doesn't have the items to be able to combat this one back, so FPX turn this one into a 2-1 victory, and they finish the week strong. Duombi at the tail end of that one having an average of the week of 45% damage percentage. So congrats to them, and we move on to the next one.
And for our third series, if you've watched the Raz recap segments, you better believe this is going to be our match of the week. BLG going up against RNG. Once again coming into the Beijing venue. Man, RNG has a lot to prove, losing to Rogue Warriors in the fashion that they did earlier on in the week. And they're going up against BLG, a tough competitor. You better believe that BLG were looking for them in the playoff time. So close in points, so much ramifications in the head-to-head here. So BLG has to be able to take this one. Here we go. BLG, slow playing it. Have such a great lead throughout the early portions of the game. And then they're able to get through Meteor in game 1, who was able to get a lot of leads off of the early Rek'Sai pick. RNG pick up game 2, and it sets us up for that one duel in a game 3. RNG, they didn't get the kills, but they had the goal lead. They were on the objective first. And they're moving towards, this was like a repeat by the way, because they set this play up so often, looking for Karsa to try and find the engage onto the backline. This time around, he gets it. Right on towards the backline, you see Yasuo coming through, that's Xiaohu's Yasuo. And on this point, finally Amazing J gets the excellent wombo combo with his own ultimate. Throughout the entire game, he's been struggling being able to find it on towards Kuro because it has been that back and forth. So please, go back, watch this game. It was a highlight moment in team fights between Uzi, between Kuro, and eventually you got to see Karsa coming in hot with that stack play. And so it finally resulted in this final play. You know Kuro's up and available, trying to see if he can hold on any last hope in this series. And by the way, this series meant a lot for RNG. Major playoff ramifications, as I had already mentioned. And if they want to be able to be confident with their current performance, losing to Rogue Warriors in the previous week, they had to be able to take down BLG to their own fans. It was something they needed to do. Look at Karsa on this one. Huge moment for him to be able to pick it up. With how much hate, how much criticism players like Amazing Jay, sometimes rightfully so, is able to get, you forget how vulnerable some of the players can be. This meant the world to Karsa to be able to pick up one series after losing to Rogue Warrior earlier on in this week based off that smite play. So he deserved it. If you remember, he got the MVP on this performance and had a phenomenal series here. So unsurprising for RNG to pick up that win. And that does it for me, but of course, as per usual, I gotta give my Raz Player of the Week. And you know who it goes to? Look, I ain't putting feelings into this one. It's all about the stats here. Karsa ends up picking this one up. Not only did he get the MVP of that game, also he came up as the best of the Rift jungler here. So I felt that Karsa was not only able to apply the early game pressure within the earlier weeks when he went against Rogue Warriors, but then when they had that battle versus BLG, he came in clutch with that exact play. So once again, another strong performance from him. Another RNG member picking up that one. Maybe that says a lot of great things for RNG going forward. That being said, we'll have to see. That will be the end for Week 8 Raz's Recaps. I'll see you next week.